Hey everybody, it's Brady from Lee Weather Forecast, and today we're going to be doing a video on the upcoming multi-day severe outbreak for the Deep South into the Ohio Valley now. This is going to be a very dangerous situation, and I'm going to be covering it today's severe threat, but mainly also the severe threat we got going on tomorrow, which is the main show, the most dangerous threat. For severe weather. But let's get started here. Today we have an enhanced risk out from South Texas all the way up into the DFW metro into Northeast Texas. We have a slight risk too extending all the way into the Dixie Alley, even all the way from the Mexican border. And there's some dangerous storms out there this evening. We take a look at radar here. You can see we have a tornado warning out currently just southwest of Hamilton, Texas, or west, well west of Waco right now. It's currently rotation has weakened a little bit, so that's good news. But big hail likely some 1 to 2 inch hail potentially there. So that's the threat there. We'll also take a look here in the Dallas metro. You got some big hailers out there, probably some good 2 inch hail, probably some strong winds too. You can see what looks like rotation is probably more just straight line winds. You can kind of see, maybe we'll watch out there. Probably some strong winds. Probably there from probably some 50 to 60 plus mile an hour wind gusts happening right now, approaching Myrtle Springs, along with some potentially 2 inch plus hail. So there's definitely some big time hailers out there this evening, and we can kind of see. Oh, this is where the rotation is. Okay, so there still is rotation. Looks like these radars are picking up on it a little bit more. I'm guessing they're going from the Dallas. So it looks like there's some more mid-level rotation in this one here, because we can kind of see that rotation here more evident now. So we'll watch that one as it approaches Hamilton, Texas. But that's the severe threat, big hail. We're also looking at damaging wind gusts, 50 to 70 miles an hour possible tonight in some of these severe thunderstorms. And we're also looking at the threat for tornadoes. As we see, we do have a tornado warning out, a near event, Texas and near Hamilton, Texas, approaching Hamilton, Texas. So these storms are moving off to the east and northeast. So could be some dangerous thunderstorms tonight. Recommended staying home if you get hit by one of these thunderstorms. Try not to go out on the roads this evening. But now let's shift to tomorrow's severe threat. We have a moderate outlook in effect for tomorrow, as severe thunderstorms all the way deep into the south. We can see we have a slight risk all the way through the Ohio Valley up into Ohio and Indiana, all the way down into the Gulf Coast. So a very dangerous widespread swath, and I got a feeling that enhanced is going to extend too, and that slight is going to extend more to the north and east as well. And we might watch that moderate extend more to the north and east. Maybe that's possible too. And I got something tells me about this setup. We could see a high risk tonight. As a matter of fact, I would be a little surprised if we didn't see a high risk tonight. Honestly, all the parameters are beefed up more than they were last time, and that was a 45 sig tour day. So we'll take a look here. The tornado risk 15% hatch, so 15% of a significant tornado in a 25-mile range. That's pretty significant stuff we're talking about, literally, no pun intended. But we see a high risk, that's going to go to 30, and if we see a 45% risk, that means there's a 45% risk of a significant tornado within a 25-mile span, which is an EF2 to EF5 tornado. So that's what it takes for that to verify, which it did last time. So we're definitely going to be looking at some really dangerous tornadic thunderstorms tomorrow night, some supercells. We'll take a look at the model. Oh, actually, we do have a hatched wind risk for 30%, and we also have a hatched wind risk hatched hail risk for 30%. We can see here as well. So big hailers tomorrow night too. We'll have some strong wind gusts for sure tomorrow night. That will be we're going to have some strong wind gusts as the low pressure deepens. We'll kind of look at, I'll just pull up the modeling myself. Kind of do this on the fly. I wasn't planning on it. I spelled it wrong, but it will still come up. As the low pressure strengthens, we can see those isobars coming together more. That's going to make some dangerous wind gusts potentially in southern Indiana, and also up into Ohio and Illinois. We could be looking at not only the potential for some severe thunderstorms, but also some strong wind gusts just in general, maybe some 50 to 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts for a more sustained period of time. So, well, something you have to watch for some power outages tomorrow night into Friday morning as well. And that will go for for Michigan too, as we'll still have a 993, maybe some mixed precipitation up into Toronto and Michigan, but we'll see about that. Um, and then you can see we'll have another round of maybe severe weather after that. Doesn't look as potent, but you never know. We'll see. I mean, it looks like we'll maybe quiet down a little bit after that. Once we head into early April, it might quiet down, which is a very needed break from severe weather, because we're potentially could have two high risks back-to-back weeks, which is not good. Okay, so we got to get moving here because I'm trying to do this video quicker. Here is a significant tornado parameter. Basically, what this is, it's a parameter, but look at it as a scale, and it's taking in a bunch of bunch of facets that help contribute to make significant tornadoes, and it's a scale on 1 to 10 on how literally significant the parameters are for significant tornadoes, and that's all it is really. And we can see here the HRR, just going off the charts, literally, literally going off the charts here with this significant tornado parameter tomorrow night. But well, that's where we're looking at. We're looking at the potential for strong EF2 to EF5 tornadoes, long track EF2 to EF5 tornadoes tomorrow night. So this is going to be a particularly dangerous situation where we're going to be looking at PDS tornado watches. Just another dangerous night in afternoon ahead for the Dixie Alley tomorrow night. But you can see it gets going here earlier in the day. We can see, southeastern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. I'm not buying the morning real significant tornado threat. It is possible as that warm front moves north. We'll take a look at that. I want the temperatures. Here we go. Will this show me what I want? I don't know if it will. No, we'll get this here. As the warm front moves to the north, we can point that out. You can see that moving across northern Mississippi across the morning as it moves north. There could be a tornado threat potentially, so that is something we'll have to watch for. Definitely. So there could be a tornado threat. There could be some strong wind gusts and maybe some brief pea-sized hail, but that's not the main show we're looking at tomorrow night. Take a look here at the sector parameter. See if it doesn't even have limited tornado threat. It looks like for this time frame, and this is more overnight really. But we're going to be watching for multiple rounds of severe thunderstorms. We take a look here at composite reflectivity, just to give an idea of what it looks like. It's not my favorite parameter, but you can see all that convection that will get out of the way in the morning, and it'll just be scattered thunderstorms after that. I'll take a look, see if there's anything on the sector, just give an idea. Could be some tornadoes in the morning. It's possible. I'm not going to rule it out. But the main threat comes later in the day as we start moving to the late morning hours here. We can start to see it clear out, see our warm sector clear out some, and we take a look and we can see these big supercells, take over across northern Mississippi, and really just start, such a classic structure here with some big time supercells. We're rotating supercells with the potential to produce very violent tornadoes. So that's the risk we're looking at here. And we'll take a look at our jet stream here. Show you some of the winds we're dealing with here. Go right here. Yeah, so this is our low-level jet stream. So basically what we're looking for, last week we were dealing with 40 to 55 knots in the low-level jet, where the LLJ can be, you can see on Twitter sometimes. That's what it means. We going to see this as our low pressure intensifies. We're going to see the trough eject, and we're really going to see the low level jet start to take off. And we can start to see some of those 60, 65 knot winds across eastern Mississippi start to happen at 850 millibars. When we look at 21Z, really getting going to this low level jet as it takes off. So as it moves to the north, that significant tornado threat is going to push well up into Tennessee, even up into Kentucky potentially too. So Tennessee and Kentucky definitely not out of the threat. Other places like eastern Arkansas have not been talked about. They are in the threat for strong severe thunderstorms as well, so can't rule them out. Also, northwest Georgia could have the potential to see some significant strong thunderstorms too, with potentially rotating supercells. So maybe some tornadic action too. Maybe it's possible a QLCS, basically a squall line, moves to the east, and we're looking at some spin-ups along that too later in the evening. So that's something we'll have to watch for as well. But take a look here. The SIG-TOR, this doesn't always tell the whole story, but you can kind of tell as we looked at the low-level jet really starting to eject, the trough starting to eject, and we can see the low-level jet take off and at 850 millibars, and you can also see tornadoes are really, likely multiple strong violent tornadoes. The HRR depicting here tomorrow evening across eastern Mississippi and northern Alabama, across much of eastern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and even into southern Tennessee. You can see here too. So, the threat for violent tornadoes, that's what we're going to be talking about. Cape is a big factor. We look at here, reverse back, could be looking at as much as 3,500 joules of Cape. A lot of Cape will be available, more than last time. We're looking at maybe 1,000 to 2,500 at the max, mostly 1,000 to 2,000 joules of Cape for the most part. Now we're going to be looking at 3,000 plus joules of Cape. There's going to be a lot of Cape convective available potential energy stands for. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, that will be embarrassing, but whatever. You can see lots of convective available potential energy is the long word. And we look at helicity. Helicity is another one we look at. That will be more than present for sure. Helicity is basically it's another measurement that we look at. Basically, we look at a number you look for helicity. Anywhere from 3 to 400 is what we look at. Storm relative helicity 0 to 1 kilometers. This is what we're looking at right now. And there's also 0 to 3 kilometers. We're looking at anywhere in that 3 to 400 range, and anything above that is real off the charts for good tornadoes. And we can see, yep, this is plenty of that you can see in this image for what the HRR is depicting. So not a great sign, obviously not what we want to see here. And you can see it's just this is going to be a very devastating night for some people. And we'll take a look at a sounding here, see what we get, and then we'll call it. Hopefully it isn't contaminated. Nope, not contaminated, which is good. I mean, this HODO is insane. We take a look here, some of these winds up to 75 knots here in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That is very, very impressive. That's a classic photograph. Typically, critical angle is something, you look for maybe around 90 degrees. As close to that has been. Research has shown that that's preferable for tornadoes, but it's not always necessary for that. And plus, it's sounding from from a model run, so it's not always going to be perfectly depicted, as we know. And we take a look here at our winds in the atmosphere here. This is what I'm looking at here, these wind barbs here. We can see we got some backing surface winds from the southeast, maybe a little more from the south, but be a little bit from the southeast here. You look for it, and you look for those veering of the winds in the atmosphere as well, or backing as you go in height. We can take a look here. at some rotating winds at different levels of the atmosphere. That's where you're looking at winds coming from different directions. So, 500, you got winds coming from the west southwest, and you got winds coming from the southwest at 700, and then you got the south southwest, and you got winds from the south at the surface. Those are rotating winds, or winds coming from different directions, beneficial for tornadic thunderstorms. Dew point 71 degrees. Plenty of moisture is going to be available. That's for sure. Um, I'll take a look, show that in a second. And we got Cape again over 3,000. No capping. Um, just a very good sounding here we're looking at for tornadoes, and 14 loose matches for a tornado. So, and some of the analogs, that's something you always look for. The hazard type PDS Tor. Um, but we'll take a look here at the moisture present, and then we'll call it quits for this video. Okay. So we can see here, look at the moisture we got tapping into. We're tapping into dew points up into the lower 70s. Really just a significant amount of moisture is going to be available for sure. Just a plume of moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. And moisture can be known as the most important source for tornadoes. Some think it is, and I would say it is too. Without those strong dew points, I mean, you definitely can see tornadoes, with dew points in the 50s, so cold core tornadoes. But it's hard to see any of those significant tornadoes without dew points, into the mid 60s, upper 60s, and once you get into low 70s, really lots of plenty of moisture available for significant tornadoes. You can see along moisture boundary here, we can take a look. That's where some supercells, rotating supercells, will be forming. Look just north of right here. I bet you are going to see some supercells right there. And indeed, we do. Right around here. So, that's something you can always look for. Just north of that, you can look for, back-to-back supercells sometimes forming along that line. So that will be something to watch for tomorrow night as well. But it's going to be a dangerous night. I kind of went out of order a little bit, but I just tried to cover everything I could in the shortest amount of time. So, this is going to be a very dangerous situation. Again, we have a moderate risk for tomorrow evening, and I suspect it could be upgraded to a high risk. This is going to be a very dangerous situation. We're talking places Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Jackson, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, Clarksville, Jonesboro, Bowling Green, Greenville, Mississippi, Cleveland, Tennessee. These are all places that really need to be alert. Atlanta needs to be alert just in case, the severe risk shifts east a little bit just in case. Atlanta doesn't look like you're going to be in the strongest or the most significant area to see strong tornadoes, but you want to stay tuned just in case you are in that slight risk. So be aware. But then target area is northeast Mississippi and northwest Alabama and southern Tennessee. I'd say that's the most likely area to see strong and violent tornadoes. So that is the area I'm most concerned about. If you live there, make sure you have preparations in place. Grab a helmet, grab pillows, comforters, parts of your couch that you can cover over you. Make sure that you are safe. In case a tornado does come, that's the best you can do to make sure you are prepared. And I always have people ask me during hurricanes that are violent hurricanes that are going to make landfall or the potential for violent tornadoes. Have people ask me on Twitter all the time. What is, what can I do? And am I going to be safe? And I say, if you prepare correctly, you will be safe. It's not always a guarantee, but most of the time, if you prepare to the best of your ability, you will be safe. And the most safe thing you can do is, get out of the moderate risk or the high risk if there is one tomorrow, and travel somewhere else with family and friends if if you really want to be safe. And sometimes that's the best thing to do. If there's an EF4 tornado, you can't predict that in the future, but if it came over your home, even if you go to the safest precautions, it may not be enough. That's just reality. Some structures aren't built that way. But if you have a strong, really strong, well-built home, you have a basement or a safe room, those safe tornado rooms. We saw last year that those the EF4 tornadoes that went through Bassfield and Soso, Mississippi. That one person in that safe room survived an EF4 tornado with almost 200-mile-an-hour winds. So if you have a safe room, yeah, I recommend going in there. But that's all I got for this video. I hope you all really stay safe. Listen to the sirens. Make sure you have ways to get alerts, and stay safe. Yeah, well, I'll be following this in tune, and maybe I'll post another video tomorrow morning. We'll see. That's gonna do it for me. Peace out.